Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
From Daytona Beach, Florida, to the outskirts of Birmingham, Alabama, the Superior Class Auto Racing Grid Sports Car Championship brings the V8 and V10 GT1 beasts to one of the most technical, unforgiving circuits in American motorsport. Hello and welcome to the virtual Barber Motorsports Park. JP Costa alongside, I'm Andrew Cardinale IV, and we are ready to take you through 45 minutes of action from a classic southern road course.
I cannot tell you, Andrew, how excited I am to see these GT1 cars driving around Barber. I mean, last time out on Daytona was a fantastic race course, but this is going to be a whole new challenge for these guys.
Yeah, this is a challenging race course for anybody. Go back to Jimmy Johnson's IndyCar debut earlier in 2021. Yeah, it didn't go so well. He had a couple of issues, but you know what? It was a great learning day, and that's what a lot of these drivers are aiming to do themselves. But this is going to be a very, very big test of these drivers' road racing skills. We'll see how they learn. After round number 2, we'll see how it all goes. Thanks for joining us this evening on our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter platforms as we now take a look at our standings after just one race a few weeks ago back at Daytona. 15 drivers turned out. We expect a few more to populate the standings as the season goes on. But the big story, Andrew Locke atop the standings. JP, he simply was best. Steve Stinger was close. David Bradford wasn't too far off, but Andrew Locke was simply far and away the best. However, got a new contender this week to deal with, and he's already second in practice.
Yeah, last time out, he was absolutely on point. He finished well over 19 seconds ahead of second place, and obviously 35 seconds ahead of third place. So a dominant race. But as you mentioned, he's second place in practice, so some challenge will be, at least we hope it's gonna happen. And well, if anyone is gonna go against Locke, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be excited. I mean, I'm gonna be very excited to watch it because it's gonna be a battle of the titans essentially.
We got some pretty close practice times that we'll touch on here in a moment. Here is the track map for Barber. It's an interesting course. That's one of the best ways to put it. It kind of ramps over on itself a few times. It almost kind of looks like you've got 4 straightaways back to back to back to back lined up that you can see from the tower. It's kind of interesting how that works out. Turn 1, it's a very fast downhill left-hander. What this doesn't show is the elevation change, and there is a ton of it here at Barber. Downhill through turn 1, more so on exit than entry, and then turn 2 kind of brings you back up. You go down a hill right back up into turn 2, and you kind of stay at that same elevation, get to 3, and then you start dropping right back down, and you go right back to the bottom of a hill and up a crest for turn 4 before you kind of come back down to that same hill that you have on the front stretch into turn number 5. So a bit of a downhill braking zone for that hairpin in the middle of the track. You come back around turn 6, it's relatively flat until you get down to turn 7, and JP, it's no I can't even think of the name now from Laguna Seca. It's no corkscrew from Laguna Seca, but it is darn close.
It is extremely tricky. This racetrack, as mentioned, the first sector alone, it's already a big challenge. I only raced here once with the new LMP2s, and boy, that was hard with a high downforce car. I cannot imagine how difficult some of these, the guys' lives are gonna be with the GT1 cars. And as you mentioned, 7, the turn 7-8 complex, it's so challenging. It's essentially, a drop zone. It feels like you're, skydiving with the car. And then obviously you go down to 8, a small straight, a quick chicane, essentially 9 and 10. You really have to nail it down. And then another massive straight, turns 11 and 12. And that final section, the turns 13, 14, is just a long, sweeping corner. It just never ends, and the front tires are going to be screaming. At the end of the race, we might see some drivers struggling with grip from the front tires.
And it's one of those tightening radius corners. It's not a perfect circle, so it's kind of hard to use the radius as an example, but the radius does tighten up from 14 to 14A, and you really have got to stomp on the brakes, get that nose turned in a little bit, especially in these bigger, heavier cars. An Indy car, yeah, you can kind of work with it a little bit, but as far as one of these big, heavier GT1 cars, it's going to be tough. Lap record here is set earlier this year by Pato O'Ward in the annual IndyCar race that I mentioned earlier. That was a 106.81. They'll be a little far off of that today, seeing times more so in a 117 range, which is 10 seconds faster than the GT lap record here, which is the closest I could find to a GT1 car having lapped here. I could not find a GT1 lap record. There might be one, but I couldn't find it in preparation for this event. I talked about practice times. Well, now drivers are in qualifying, but as far as those practice times, JP, Brandon Cocker, one of the brand new drivers of the series, the number 777, went fastest in practice and is looking fast again in qualifying. No times turned just yet, but these are all of these drivers' first flying laps.
Yeah, he was definitely fast in practice. Now the question will be, can he essentially keep that up in qualifying? Obviously, it's going to be a big challenge for the Aston Martin driver. And well, if he can keep up in qualifying, we might see an interesting battle turning out in the race. And well, I'm definitely ready to see it. We have 7 minutes as Steven Stinger goes fast as a 118.3. So we're going to have to see how the lap times tumble. Essentially, looks like a Harger went second quickest, only 1.2 seconds, so quite a big gap between first and second, but pretty sure we're going to see those times coming down even quicker.
Astons are fast so far, but here's Stephen Baldwin in a Corvette joining the party. He gets a time in. Looks like other drivers either had an off-track or, Will Hewitt, that's a little more than an off-track there. Spun around at a turn 1, and again, that's where that elevation change gets you for the first time in the lap. Here is Brian Rose working around one of the further outskirts of the circuit. This is actually coming to a close of the circuit. This is turn 14 now for Brian Rose. He'll work to complete his lap. A little more to go over, a little more to talk about as these drivers continue on with qualifying. One of the big things that we'll be talking about throughout the day, the difference in cars. And here you go. This is a great comparison of the two. A 7-liter V8 producing just under 600 horsepower for the Corvette versus the 6-liter V12, a smaller motor with more cylinders, a little bit more horsepower as well. It's more finely tuned to get up to 600 horsepower. It's got a little bit less torque, though, in the Aston Martin. Corvette, of course, wins in that torque department. A little bit interesting. Usually you almost expect the opposite from European cars versus American cars. Maybe expect a little more torque, a little less horsepower at the top end out of Aston Martins or whatever else, but that's not the case. Usually, a Corvette, you expect those big high horsepower numbers, just underpowered just a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna mention that, obviously I'm from Brazil, so whenever I see a Corvette and an Aston Martin, the first thing that comes to mind in a Corvette is a big engine, big numbers, all that sort of stuff. And when I talk big numbers, I'm meaning horsepower, torque, and weight. But this car has more torque, less horsepower, and is actually lighter than the Aston Martin, so completely the opposite. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it turns out here in Barber. But well, these cars go a long way whenever we talk about comparisons between one another, but on track they're quite similar. The lap times are going to be similar because they have the strengths and weaknesses from each other.
Yeah, I genuinely think the weight is the most surprising stat between these cars to me. The wheelbase, I guess, isn't all that surprising, but it's an interesting note as well. The Corvette is a shorter car, and if you're familiar with IndyCar adjustment, and actually shorten the wheelbase by 2 inches, which is effectively what you can do between cars here. And that shorter wheelbase helps liven up the car. The longer wheelbase helps kind of stabilize the car a little bit. So a very stable Aston Martin platform, but if you can get the Corvette to work to perfection, it can be quick. So yeah, I think that's kind of what we'll look through the course of this season. And speaking of the course of this season here, JP, there's a lot more races to come. This is only race number 2 of 10 lined up for this season. Next up, it's Lime Rock Park.
Exactly, Lime Rock. It's gonna be interesting to see in these cars. It's such a short track, you know. It requires a lot of precision, requires a lot of patience, and while seeing these big cars, big powerful cars driving on such a short and tiny track, they're kind of used to seeing Mazdas MX-5s racing in. It's gonna be fun and it's gonna be exciting.
Mentioned Brandon Cocker, brand new to the series. Yep, he's already to the top of the board here in qualifying. That number 777. You almost want to say, like, I think he'd be better off in a 007, in an Aston Martin, license to kill, because he has killed the field so far qualifying. Checked out by a tenth and a half and then some over Steve Singer. Cody Harger much further back, a second and a half back of Cocker. Then you can see Jesse King actually just moving up to Ford. So you can see these guys kind of settling in much further back, it seems. Got a couple of outliers here at the top of the board.
Yeah, looks like everybody's kind of close together. As you mentioned, Brennan is doing a fantastic lap. I was just going to mention, yeah, I was going to mention the gap wasn't that great, but well, actually now that was the license to kill. He just absolutely murdered everybody. You know, a quarter of a second, and then look at the gap to third place. This is going to be an interesting race between those two because the top two are actually quite close together.
Fourth and fifth are even closer, and fifth is actually following. Is that Jesse right in front of him? Could it be? No, not quite. That's Thomas McMullen in the O2. But Brian Rose is just about that close to the car in front, Jesse King, here in qualifying. They're separated by only 33 100ths of a second. Very, very close. No, that's 1,000ths. 33 1,000ths. Yeah. As he gets to the inside of McMullen, and we'll turn the O2 a car around. That'll invalidate both of their lap times. So this happened there in qualifying. Here's Stephen Baldwin that we looked at a little bit earlier on. And Jesse King in this number 25. He's kind of maybe one to watch. Fourth place so far, Corvette versus Harger's Aston Martin. Rose is in the Aston as well. So this is the best Corvette in the field so far.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like the Corvettes might be a bit, not a bit down on power, obviously, but might not be their best racetrack. But if he can keep on third and he can win on the Corvette, I mean, that's going to be a fantastic result. He has to. I mean, you just have to nail this track. It's just so difficult to kind of explain. I'm pretty sure you drove around here, Andrew. It just requires so much precision. I think that's one of the tracks when I race that requires it's the biggest learning curve. You just have to know absolutely all your points. And whenever you're just a tiny bit distracted, that could be the gap. That 1 second could be easily won or lost in this racetrack.
This is a fast qualifying session. Andrew Locke will not be starting up front. If I recall, actually, he has taken to the course now. I was going to say, if I recall, I think I recall something about these guys in their Oval Series. When they win a race, they have to start from the back. That might be the case with Andrew Locke. I don't know, but he's only just now getting to the course. He may not get a time in this qualifying session. Riding on board here with Jesse King in third in qualifying. That's one of my trickiest corners. Of the entire course, that I think is the toughest one. That's 11 and 12. It's a lot like 9 and 10, just with a little more elevation change. Here's Jeff Napier in the 40 car, working out of turn 6, out of turn 7. This is another great part of the racetrack. This is what we were talking about, a little bit like the corkscrew at Laguna Seca.
Yeah, essentially you just hop on down. The cars are going to be hopping all over. You really have to nail that final apex to get the best line possible, the best time. And then here's just a fast chicane. You just really have to commit. You have to trust your car. And then obviously one of the trickiest corners. I agree with you, Andrew. I struggle on this a lot. You just have to trust. You can see a minor correction there, and then as soon as you come over the crest, the track kind of, I guess, tries to, I don't know, mess with you. You know, try to believe there's more tarmac there, but there's not. Then suddenly you run out, and then you have this big right-hander that never ends. And then finally you're on the final corner, and then you just have to power down. Looks like Andrew Locke is on the racetrack, but he definitely won't be able to finish his lap.
He may be able to. The session, oh, well, not anymore. I was going to say the session should get a little bit of extra time, I would think, to help these drivers finish their laps, but that spin will nullify any qualifying attempt from the driver of the number 23. Stephen Baldwin, the highest up driver that is still on the racetrack. Yeah, you see there almost 2 minutes left for these guys to try and get a time finished up. It's just Baldwin, McMullen, and Napier that are still on the racetrack.
It's only a few cars. Looks like Baldwin might be on a good lap time. You can see McMullen, a little bit of a tank slapper on the final corner. He's 4.2 seconds. Can he improve his left end? 147. So something happened on his final run. Unfortunately for him, he's going to be lining up in 7th place. Napier looks like he's on 8th right now. He's 9.6 seconds. So hopefully he can improve this lap time. And well, looks like he's coming to the final chicane in the final sector of the racetrack. This is all or nothing.
See if Jeff Napier can improve on his lap. Like, he just might be the final driver to have that kind of opportunity. McMullen, of course, he wrapped up his lap a little bit further ahead. I believe Napier's going to be the final driver with an opportunity to move up at all here in qualifying. Into turns 13 and 14. Going to have to keep a very tight radius here for 14A. Round the right-hander and the left-hander of turn 15. Is he going to improve? Doesn't wash out for a wide entry or anything. Out of the final corner, maybe a little bit late to the power. He's got a best of 127, and he will, a 125.1. Much quicker for Napier. No positions gained, but much quicker overall. 2 seconds and change picked up for the number 40.
Yeah, that's going to be a big confidence booster. As you mentioned, no grid position gained, but I mean, if you can find 2 seconds in a lap time, that's going to be really good for you. As McMullen still looks like he's struggling a bit. And there he's been
struggling.
Yeah, that's struggling quite a bit actually. But unfortunately for him, that's going to be the end.
Well, maybe.
Looks like Baldwin's taking a bit extra time. He only has 10 seconds left. Will he be able to finish the lap?
Maybe. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Does he get it across in time? Yes! I think so.
But he didn't improve.
No.
No.
That's as close as you can get to getting that last time, and I can't believe that for Stephen Baldwin.
That was an improvement. That was an improvement as well.
Well, but it may have cut it short with when the session ended. I'm not so sure exactly how racing treat. Regardless, he doesn't move up at all in the order and will start. He was previously slated to start. So let's go ahead and meet our field for round number 2. Barber Motorsports Park. Starting first, it is the number 777 of Brandon Cocker. So fast in practice, so fast to get in qualifying, and Brandon will lead the field to the green this afternoon. Steve Singer will start from his right side in the number 6 car. Steve Singer starting second. Starting third this afternoon at Barber, it is Jesse King in the 25. Cody Harger starts 4th. Starting 5th at Barber, it's going to be none other than Brian Rose in the Aston Martin. Stephen Baldwin will start from 6th. Wrap up the top half of the field, I guess, kind of, right about here. I guess 6.5 is half of the field here in a 13-car field. Thomas McMullen will start from 7th, and Jeff Napier will start 8th.
In 9th place, we're going to have Andrew Lockheel, last time winner, so a big recovery race for him. Alongside him, the number 33 of Will Hewitt. He's going to be starting in 10th place. In 11th place, we're going to have Robbie Hamilton, the number 16. And in 12th place, the number 5 of Mark Truxall. In 13th place, and the last driver to line up is going to be the number 54 of Justin Napier.
It looks like Jeff Napier is just taking an EOL. Decided to start from the rear of this field. You can see him slowing down in our static shots as the field rolled on through. He will now start behind Mark Truxall. Tail end of the longest line there for Jeff Napier. Rather interesting there. Bobby Hamilton is not taking the green flag. Robbie Hamilton Jr., it looks like, is electing to start from pit lane. Bobby Hamilton Jr., somebody who's got experience on road courses in real race cars, stock cars to be exact, of course, having NASCAR experience under his belt. Kind of surprised that he wouldn't start this field with start this race with the rest of the field, but that is the call for the number 16. So 12 cars will take us to the green flag, all led by that 777.
And that's going to be a big start. It's going to be an important start for some drivers. Obviously, those that elected not to set a lap time or couldn't for some reason, well, they're going to have a big challenge because these corners are tight. And whenever you're talking about big GT1 cars, something can happen down into turns 1, 2, 3, and 4, you name it, even at turn 7. So those guys really have to be careful if you're not starting from the front row, essentially. So a big cautious start might be on the mind of each and every single driver here.
That's turn 11 through turn 12 and over the crest for 13. They'll wrap up this lap. Get ready to go. Green flag racing. Weather for this event. You can see 69.3 degrees in the air, 73 degrees on the track. It should warm up throughout the course of this race. We're starting out in the morning, and we should advance a little bit into the day. Drivers working through the final corner under pacing conditions. This is it, JP. Let's get ready to go for round number 2 of Scar Grid Sports Car Championship competition. Waiting on the green flag from atop the starter stand, and there it is, the green flag waving. Barney gets this field underway. Already, one car around. I believe that was Singer? Yes, that was Singer with problems in turn 1. And he is done, maybe. Yeah, done.
That was all by himself. Unfortunately, it looks like the brakes may have caught up with him because he just lost it. Oh, and we do have another car lost. We just got in the shot at number 89.
Brian Rose.
Oh, Brian Rose is going to be out as well. Well, that
car
has a
no!
lot. Oh, no. So that car is going to have even more damage. Oh, that car is wrecked at this point, isn't it?
That car is destroyed. More drivers having problems. Hewitt gets passed up into turn 7. Everybody else trying to work on through for the first time. Cocker with a massive advantage into turn 9. King is second. Then Harger, Baldwin, Locke, Hewitt, McMullen, Napier, Truxell, the other Napier, and Rose tagging up the rear end of the field in that car. Oh boy, that right front is not pointed the right way. This is going to be tough into, well, not the corkscrew, but darn close.
Yeah, this is going to be tough to get it back to the pits. As you can see, the front suspension is essentially giving up already. So number 89 with big problems. Our leader, well, he's pretty much sailing off already into lap 1. Only 43 minutes left in the race, but he has already checked out 2.7 seconds ahead of King and 5 seconds ahead of third place.
See the rest of the field coming through, but Steve Singer destroyed. Such a great run last week at Daytona, or last race out at Daytona, and now just completely destroyed on lap number 1. Locke has got a problem. Locke is off in turns 2 and 3.
Oh, that's gonna be a big...
Oh no!
Oh!
What a hectic start.
What a
that was
hectic start
McMullen
indeed.
with the T-bone.
Oh, that is so unlucky. That was just a small mistake, and that's gonna be it for Locke.
Locke is going to tow back to the pit lane. Rose is now in the pit lane. We've got a lot to go ahead and look at.
Yes, we do. I mean, this is going to be a hectic first 2 laps. I thought it was all over.
Wow. If we can't find the problems for Singer to start this race, we'll have to go a little bit further back and see if we can't find this. This is where everything starts, though, with Steve Singer. It looks like might get a bad start to this. This is out of the final corner. Field kind of checks up. They bunch up out of turn 15. Steve Singer, orange nose to that Aston Martin. Let's watch what happens into turn 1. Slows up there, has a problem. And does he get further punted into the corner? Yeah, Harger just sends him the rest of the way around, destroying the left rear of that car. And, wow, just in a weird spot for our cameras to try and pick him up.
Yeah, exactly. Really weird. It was such a small touch on his... I'm not pretty sure it was a misshift or something, but something... I mean, that small touch completely destroyed his left rear, as you mentioned. And after that, I mean, there's just no controlling the car. Unfortunate for him, the race ended before he even got really a chance to begin. As you can see, just the smallest of touches will completely destroy it. As you can see, just a misshift. And is that front suspension? Oh, there we go. Okay, the big hit came afterwards, and, well, there's no recovering from that, I'm afraid.
Now that was the issue for Singer, and then his teammate, Brian Rose, has a problem out of turn 4. What happens here to Brian Rose? Over the crest, just gets loose. Oh, man. Did he get hit after the fact? Thankfully, no.
No, he gets a really close call, but luckily for him, he does not get hit, but unfortunately just kind of, I guess just, I'm not pretty sure what the term is, but unfortunately just hits the Armco barrier once again, and, well, that front suspension is going to take a lot of damage.
That contact with the outside, or inside wall in that case, was really only insult to injury, but this is the onboard for Brian Rose over the crest at turn 4. And thankfully, that section of wall is actually padded with some tires. That's not going to change a whole lot. You can see the field come on through.
Yeah, I guess that was the lucky straw essentially. But unfortunately for him, just a small mistake. The car just went light and the tires just spun up. And unfortunately for him, did not have enough time to lock up the brakes to essentially keep the momentum. And well, we had more problems later on that happened. And I mean, this grid is quite struggling, as we mentioned before, Andrew. This track is tricky and it does not forgive.
These are going to be the issues for Locke. He went through this section of the race course battling here with Baldwin. Baldwin actually held his ground. Pressed there by Stephen Baldwin. I thought he would have let Locke by. This is into turns 13 and 14 momentarily. Here's 13. Impression there, the right-hander. And I'm assuming he makes a move into 14. No, he actually waits. Like the patience here from Andrew Locke. You can tell he's a seasoned road course veteran. But something happens in turns 2 and 3, JP. And his race takes a dramatic turn.
It was a dramatic turn indeed, as you can see. Just breaking down into turn 1. Hitting the apex beautifully. He tries to go around the outside of the Corvette. He locks up the tires. Did you see the puff of smoke? He locked up the tires, and unfortunately, as soon as he went there, just absolutely no grip. He just tries to gas it a little bit, and unfortunately, that just sent his car spinning.
Yeah, he got surprised by Baldwin checking up for turn 2. I don't think he was planning to check up, and not that much at all, maybe. And yeah, he gets thrown off through the grass here, and this is where things really go awry, unfortunately, for all drivers involved. Trying to get back to the course, and I mean that part is a rookie mistake.
Yeah, essentially just got a bit too impatient with himself, and unfortunately just spun up the tires. And well, after that, there's just absolutely no control. He locked up the tires, trying to stop the car, but unfortunately he was on the racing line, and there's absolutely no avoiding at that point.
All of that out of the way, we're back to live picture finally, some 5 minutes later almost. Wow, that was a lot to try and keep up with, and oh, we've got a problem further back.
Oh, we do have, looks like,
Napier.
the number 54. Just saw that number completely tumbling down the order. Is that out of turn 4?
That's out of turn 5. That's out of the hairpin. There goes Jeff Napier on by, I believe his father. And Justin with problems.
And while that happens, well, we do have a new fast lap. He's just checking out our leader. Just absolutely controlling the pace. Something we saw last week, but we're going to take a look at replay to see what happened to the number 54. And I mean, more troubles. This track does not forgive. Does he lose by himself? He kind of breaks into the grass. Yeah, I guess that just small breaking into the grass completely caught him off guard, and well, no stopping the car.
Tell you what, Barber's locating system, I don't think it stops at the walls. It goes through the walls a little bit for the cameras, and that is throwing the cameras off a good bit. But he gets back on the race course and continues on. Really no harm, no foul, just a loss of lap time. And a lot of it at that.
Yeah, that's going to be the lucky shrug, and I'm just going to keep mentioning that, not getting any damage is going to be crucial for the race. And if you can get away with just blocking up your tires, all this sort of stuff, it's going to be good. The 777, well, he's checking off. Looks like his tires are going to be on perfect shape so far. Because, I mean, he's just controlling the pace. 11.5 seconds already, and we're barely 10 minutes in.
Listen to that Aston Martin. What a great sounding race car. Man, that is beautiful. I may have misspoken. We may be working further into the evening. I thought we had started in the morning here. Fortunately, I can't check. We don't have a clock that works, but it looks like it's getting darker, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I was just going to mention that. It looks like we might be seeing some headlights from the GT1 car. That's going to spark out some old memories, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm quite surprised. We saw headlights at Daytona at the very least, but yeah, I'm quite surprised actually. We might be working into the nighttime here for these guys at Barber of all places. Wouldn't that be an interesting idea? IMSA at Barber into the nighttime.
Now Barber's already a challenging circuit, as we mentioned. You have to really know the points, the braking points and turning points of this racetrack. Oh, look at that dive! That's commitment right there. That's commitment. I'm not losing any time whatsoever. That was brave from the 777. But as you mentioned, it's a challenge on itself learning Barber. But when you think you learned it, if you turn off all the lights and just try to drive with your headlights on, well, that's a whole new challenge.
Yeah, that'll change things up for sure. Steve Singer still in the pit lane. There is his number 6. Some repairs, and I'd imagine awaiting a new left rear suspension assembly. You can still see it sitting on the rim, not even on the rim, sitting on the brake rotor and caliper there on the left rear. Yeah, that's not what you want for the number 6 car.
Definitely not. I mean, I'm not pretty sure how long those repairs will take, but I mean, if you can call up the Red Bull boys in F1, I'm pretty sure they can put that back on in like 10 minutes. So hopefully he can get those boys on a call.
You're making references over here to, I'd imagine, the Grand Prix in Mexico today. I haven't even seen it yet. I was at a football game today. No clue what happened in Mexico aside from who won. We won't spoil it for anybody in case you haven't seen out there, but it'll be something I have to go back and watch. Regardless, I think we're going to have a battle here soon that we have to watch now because Will Hewitt is making up time on Cody Harger as time goes on, and into turn 7. That's something I love about this corner complex, is coming down that hill right there, especially through that apex at turn 8. Oh my gosh, it's so easy to lock up that right front and get that puff of tire smoke, and it's beautiful.
Exactly, it's such an easy, it's an easy thing to do. You just drag the brakes a little bit, the tire is gonna go light because the suspension is leaning on the left
King
side.
Off.
Oh, looks like King is gonna be losing the position, so we're gonna have a 3-car battle for 2nd place.
So Jesse King runs wide, and there we go. We are in morning. Can confirm. It was looking like it was dark. I think that was just cloud cover fooling us there a little bit, but the sun coming up, I'd say we're definitely in the morning, going to be working into the afternoon. Into the afternoon. We won't have enough time for that. Only a half hour left in the race just about, but regardless. Now these drivers will have to make a pit stop at some point. When do you make it? We've learned from North American Racing League races, JP, these guys, well, those guys in the GT3 cars like to pit a little bit earlier and give themselves a bit of extra time later on in the race. Oh my goodness!
Oh!
Whoa!
Oh, King absolutely
What in the world?
Lost the braking zone, and well, he's going to be losing the nose of the Corvette, so that's how quickly. Oh, looks like the 66 was caught on him as well.
What in the world just happened? Wow, and that becomes a massive problem for Harger. I don't know if it's damage or if he had a mechanical failure potentially with his iRacing rig. Big problems for Harger. He could not pull away. This would be a great look at things. This is down to turn 5 on the hairpin. King never makes the corner, and that makes contact with the left rear of Harger's machine, but that shouldn't have disabled it.
I'm not pretty sure if it even made contact. You can obviously take a closer look, but I'm not pretty sure if that made... Oh, yeah, definitely does. Looks like the car was trying to get moving, but it didn't.
He was revving. We could hear it over the replay. He was revving. He was trying to get back going. Meanwhile, there is a pit stop now from our race leader. Brandon Cocker has answered some of our questions. He's already in for a pit stop. There was hitbox contact. Doesn't look like it from King's machine, but there was hitbox contact. He never got on the brakes, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. Something definitely happened with the brakes of that Corvette. I'm not pretty sure what happened. It could be something similar to what happened to Napier, but I'm not 100% sure. That was also a Corvette.
If his lights light up.
Let's see.
Do, but...
Do. I mean, it was pretty much like he essentially greased the brake pedal. I mean, just barely touching it.
What in the world?
And that completely changes things because we're talking about race strategy. I was thinking about talking about the undercut, the overcut, because those guys were stuck in a 3-car battle. Well, that completely changed everything.
I'm not usually completely stumped, but I am now. I mean, it was a decent job to try and avoid Harger's machine. Clearly doesn't entirely, but for the most part, okay. And he nosed into the barrier in such an odd way that even though that should have been concrete wall that he hit, and that should have completely decimated the entirety of that race car, he was able to limp it back. And you can see the front wheels are destroyed at that point. They are towed the wrong ways. That's never what you want from a race car. But you can see that he was still able to nurse it back to the pit lane. He was able to keep going.
Yeah, exactly. That's commitment right there to not towing. But as you mentioned, the tires are pointing at completely different angle, and that's going to be good for the right-hand corners. But, I mean, I'm still baffled. I'm not sure what happened there, but hopefully we can get some disclosure later because that might have been just a mistake. You know, that's a downhill braking zone. May have just completely lost the braking zone, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm still baffled.
Yeah, nice little right front lockup there from Justin Napier's car. That was great. That was in turn 8. And now Napier is following Thomas McMullen in the 0-2 car. He'll work into turns 11 and 12. And this is for 7th, 8th, and 9th on the racetrack. Jesse King is a part of this.
Oh, so we're going to have...
Oh, there he goes. He just got a spot.
Yeah, just completely die. Oh, looks like we're going to have a challenge back from the 54. Not quite. So those two, I'm not pretty sure if they're going to keep engaging on a battle or if King is just going to be driving off. But, you know, that was a quick and done move.
And race leader now, Will Hewitt is right behind these guys. I mentioned that Cocker had pit. He's already cycled 9 seconds behind race leader Will Hewitt for the moment. And, I mean, Will Hewitt had lost a good bit of time to Brandon before the pit stop from the number 33, or 777 rather. Now, Carter is in. I think this is planned? I think so.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, the tires could be given in. He just, I mean, could want new fuel.
Fuel. These guys
fuel.
only have a 60% fuel fill. That's what we learned after Daytona. So they do have to pit in these races. That's what we were kind of trying to talk about earlier before we had the massive incident into turn 5. Was we will see these drivers pit. It's a matter of when, really.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just going to be a question of how much fuel saving. Oh, the 777 gets a big mistake, kind of just cuts the corner and makes it work somehow. So kind of lucky for him. Not pretty sure what happened there, but I mean, if you're just watching the ticker, Andrew, I'm pretty sure you are. The difference between the gap between first and second, it's completely coming down. It's tumbling. It was 7-9 seconds a few laps ago. It's already down to 4.4, 4.3, 4.2, 4.1 in a minute. It's just completely coming down so quickly.
There's the live gap, bottom right. Yeah, Brennan Cocker. Steve Singer gave me a little tidbit of info, a little nugget, if you will, that Cocker, I believe, is one of the in-house Grid by SimLab guys. So it makes sense that somebody from Grid by SimLab is able to take some guys that are running a development series, when you boil it down, and just outrunning them all, as Hewitt is trying to work through these lap cars. This is why he's losing so much time. He's got to contend with Justin Napier, and I believe only just got by McMullen.
Yeah, he's just stuck, essentially. He was stuck for the most part of the first sector, and well, looks like the 777 might be getting held up a bit. You can see him flashing his headlights. He wants to get the position done before the number 33 dives into the pit lane. So that was the reason why he was just losing so much time. You know, he was losing a bit of time lap after lap, but the timers were just coming on down. So the number 33 really compromised by the lapped car, but well, this should be inevitable. As you mentioned, a driver from Grid, well, he's just gonna be making moves left, right, and center.
More problems here for Jesse King, and it looks like he's done. That disappearance of that number 25 car, disconnected from the server. Big problems for Jesse King again. I think he's having problems with his brake pedal. We've got a very similar incident here for Jesse King. This is going to be a different section of the racetrack, one of the faster sections on that backstretch, where you've got a lot of straight line running. This is into turn 11.
Yeah, no brake
oh,
lights.
yeah. Well, but he's locked up there.
So it looks like the brake is just coming on and off, because on the entry of that corner, absolutely no brake lights. He was just committed, but not stopping at all. And then all of a sudden it just comes in. So yeah, Andrew, you're probably right. Just brake issues, hardware issues.
You don't necessarily need to brake here. It's not a bad idea in one of these GT. Gets to the brake there. Don't know. He had a lot of speed early on, and then two really big braking issues. Like, he just completely forgot where he was on the track, forgot what braking zone he was entering, or like he's having hardware issues. Once he's on the brake, he holds the brake the entire rest of the way.
Yeah, but you can see the rear wheel just essentially just locking and unlocking, so it could be.
Well, that's mostly from the compression. When the car compresses and gets all of that weight on one of those tires, the friction from one of those tires hitting the ground will unlock that wheel and unlock that brake. And the rears take a longer time to lock anyways. The front's being locked means that he had consistent brake pressure.
Yeah, well, I just got your point. Yeah, it makes complete sense. So, well, we're just gonna be on the dark. Hopefully he hops into chat and, I mean, kind of just, obviously he doesn't have to explain, but it'll be interesting to see what happened. I'm not pretty sure what is, but it's an unfortunate race end for him.
Here's Will Hewitt. Great shot from the flag stand here at Barber. He's in for his stop.
And look at the livery on the number 33. It looks absolutely stunning. It's like a metallic green with essentially a really dark black. I really like the contrast between those two colors. And somehow it looks good. We talked last time out that the Corvette should be essentially the yellow car, and the Aston should be kind of the green car, but it kind of looks okay on the Corvette in my opinion.
This is a much longer stop for Will Hewitt. I mean, he is filling up with fuel. Brandon Cocker only spent 10.5 seconds in the pit lane. Will Hewitt is in upwards of 40, 44, 45 seconds. He's already spent over a minute on pit lane as a whole, and it's going to be a minute and 10, minute and 12. This is a long, long pit stop. 40 extra seconds almost for Will Hewitt.
Could it be a penalty for speeding? Or
Maybe, but these cars have pit limiters.
yeah, but sometimes you just come in way too
It would
hot.
be
Look at him.
consistent, though. 40-second hold. That would make sense.
Yeah, and look at him. He just lost a complete lap to the leader.
Wow.
That's how quick things can change.
And there it is, Brandon Cocker right in front. Great catch there. And you can see how much shorter the pit box time. 40 seconds less in the box. That may have well been a pit lane penalty. Here's Brian Rose in. You can see Jeff Napier in the background in the pit lane as well. Rose will pull away.
Oh,
Wow.
Napier. Big.
That was
stop.
after a tow. I think that was for a fast repair. So had an incident then for him.
Oh, it could be 160 seconds. It's a long time on the pit lane, so we're gonna be taking a look if we can see an issue for him. Will be another one. Yeah, look at him. He does not have a rear wing.
Yep, so problems for Napier. We'll go back and see if we can find it. Being not. It's going to be much further back. This is interesting. Might have finally, here we go. We'll finally have it. This will be out of turn 4, it looks like. We got problems here. This is out of turn 15. He's already had massive contact. Look at the nose of that car.
Yeah, that car's destroyed. The front end, at least the aerodynamics on that car is destroyed. You can see him taking very easily.
He really had
turns
to
on.
overslow.
Yeah, he's taking it very slow, but something definitely happened afterwards, I'm pretty sure, because that was a tow, and I'm pretty sure the rear end was also destroyed. Does he get loose? Does he get hit from behind?
That was McMullen. Is there contact? Yes.
Oh,
Net code contact, but contact.
Yeah, 100%. So unfortunately for him, oh, you can see the rear wing just essentially pop in.
It decided at the end it was no longer a part of this. It no longer wanted to be around.
He was like, nope. And unfortunately for him, that was going to be the toll. Looks like the suspension may have been destroyed because he was trying to apply power and just couldn't. So
The left front's really working hard there. There were some toe issues. You know what? Let's go further back. Let's see what happened to cause this. He was behind Brian Rose, and even further back. So he's already had left front contact. The car looks like it's already been on a wall on the left side, and there's several places on this course where it could have happened. As we're under yellow. We are under full course yellow.
oh, this is going to change a couple of things for some drivers.
I think this is in response to all of the issues for these drivers. We're under full course yellow. How bizarre. This is Jeff Napier's issue. That's turn 8. Likely going to come here in just a moment.
That's either going to be contact with another car or the
Likely the
barrier,
wall.
because- Yeah, because it's just the front end. It does not go to the sides, I'm pretty sure. Could be on this fast section. Could
Yep.
be good. Just yeah, there we go. So, oh, he nearly saves it. Oh.
That impact would have been lessened if he had caught that tire barrier 15 feet sooner.
100%. If he had caught that, it may have just been spread out throughout the car. Oh, but that was just so unfortunate. He essentially caught the slide.
Full course yellow. Justin Napier with an issue. He is around at a turn 5 again. This is under full course yellow.
So may have just been trying to catch up with the leader, and well, sometimes you just push a bit too hard even under caution, even under yellow. So is that another brake failure? Could it be another brake failure for another Corvette?
This just looks like a mistake. Yep.
Oh yeah, it just came in a bit too hard essentially. Luckily for him, no contact with the wall, so only tire damage essentially, just getting a bit more tire wear, less tire life, but luckily for him, no contact with the wall, which is better than quite a few drivers here who haven't had that much luck.
So full course yellow, and again it looks dark. We might be in nighttime. I don't know. We've gone to thinking it's morning to afternoon, or not afternoon, morning to evening to morning and back to evening again, because it has gotten significantly darker. The sky is much more yellow, which leads me to believe that, you know what? I don't know. I don't know what time it is. I have no clue. I'm not even gonna speculate. Several cars in the pit lane. Those cars being, if I can get a hold of them here. Andrew Locke is one of them, and he's got a lot of right front damage.
Oh, that's quite a bit of damage. So he definitely got his car fixed. As you can see, the Corvette, Aston Martin. Pretty sure only 2 cars were capped out on the racetrack. The rest of them could they go for new tires? Quite a few of them were locking up and struggling a bit. Could we see new tires on some of these cars?
This would be the time to do it. You will get a short-term gain. Just got to navigate cold tires, and that's the challenge here. Not all that warm. In fact, it's cooled off.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting for some of these drivers. You can see 2 drivers taking tires. They're going to have the opportunity to warm them up during the pace lap, so yeah, you can get a few burnouts. You can essentially drag the front tires. But some other drivers, as you can see in Lockheel, he's just there to essentially fix up damage.
My crazier has it actually gotten darker this time.
It definitely looks darker, so I'm not 100%
You can
sure
you
yet.
can see the headlights lighting up sections of the track ahead. Look at that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's going to nighttime. Well, we're gonna be crazy.
Well, make your
That's
bets.
a question for the interview.
Make your bets, YouTube. What time do you think it is? I have no clue at this point. That looks much darker. That portion of racetrack there.
Yeah, and the sky looks like it looks like sunset.
But it was much more blue before. Now it's a lot more red. Oh no. It was blue in kind of a sun had already set kind of way. I think it's evening.
Yeah, it might be. We need more Le Mans 24-hour practice for us.
Yeah.
So we can judge the weather better.
All right then. Looks like we're progressing a little bit. You know, it could be a static time, and it just might be the clouds that are messing with us. But that looks a lot more red in the background. That looks like the sun is going somewhere. That's not how it looked at the start of this race. Regardless, it is lap 19 with 17 minutes to go, and I did not at all count on a full course yellow tonight, at all whatsoever.
Me neither. I was 100% expecting this race to just keep on going, but this is gonna make things a lot more interesting. Looks like we're gonna be going for another extra lap. So, I mean, obviously bets are on for the rest of the grid because I'm pretty sure the race win might be decided. That doesn't make it any less interesting though.
4 cars coming in the pit lane. Jeff Napier, one of them. Like Brian Rose will stay out. Really just Jeff Napier and Steve Singer. Steve Singer, the big one. He is finally in the field. He must have made a mistake because these drivers do have one faster pair, and you can see he's still got that left rear damage, and he's trying to get some more fixed. That indicates to me that there was a mistake. He did not take his fast.
Yeah, so he's going to be struggling. He's going to be losing essentially each and every single position to try and get at least the damage fixed. I mean, you're not going to be able to get everything. Those are definitely optional repairs. So he's going to have to judge it because I'm pretty sure the pace car might be coming in this lap. We have already been under caution quite a while. Yeah, the lights are off. So it's this lap. So he has to judge it essentially to perfection to not lose extra time.
It's definitely getting dark. Has to be. It is a very beautiful racetrack here at Barber Motorsports Park. One that I think is a little bit underrated. Doesn't get used nearly enough on the iRacing.com service. one that I wish we had more chances to cover. This is the first time we've had Barber on a PitStop TV broadcast, and that is a shame. This place deserves so much more racing. It's got a couple of different layouts that are really good for smaller, slower car racing. This just happens to be the kind of Grand Prix full course layout that really works nicely for cars like this, these GT1 cars.
Exactly. This track works so well in so many different cars that, as you mentioned, it's just a shame that we don't see more of it. But yeah, hopefully that can change, because I actually love this racetrack, even though it wasn't so kind to me. It's just so much fun to drive. Whenever you get it right, it's just a reward on itself. And well, hopefully these boys can put on a show for 15 more minutes so we can have plenty more in the upcoming broadcasts.
Field working down kind of that backstretch portion. Let's take a look at the track map here for Barber and kind of explain some of these sections a bit. This is into turns 11 and 12 off of the longer of the two backstretches. Now they come over the hill between 12 and 13, and you can kind of get a look at kind of what they're coming up to for the restart through 13, 14, and eventually through 14A, then 15, turn 15, that left-hander, that launches them out of that corner where they checked up last time in turn 1. I expect to be a problem spot one more time. Robbie Hamilton Jr., in case you're wondering, never did join the field for this one. A bit interesting there, but the drivers are ready to go back. Green flag racing, a restart on a road course. That's rare. Passing already through turn 1. A bit more straightforward this time, though.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people are being more cautious, which is kind of odd to see, but with only 14 minutes left, these guys cannot afford any mistakes. As you can see, headlights lighting up the tarmac in front of them.
Here we go!
Oh, and there's contact. There was definitely contact between those two Aston Martins. Looks like the number 66 comes out on top, and the number 89 still holds back.
That was Brian Rose in a turn 5, made contact with Harger, went on by, and then Harger got back by.
Oh, that was pretty much the over and under, but, well, the 66 got quite a bit of damage on their rear end.
These guys are not battling for a second. There's a crash behind. Will Hewitt, maybe? Was he the one who just had problems? Baldwin has got issues. Oh, wow.
Quite a few drivers have an issue on, essentially, the force speed. We're just going to keep on calling that. Oh, the 89 loses it. Looks like on turn, is that turn 10?
That was out of 10. This is now 11. Back up at the front of the field. Cocker working now through 14. McMullen gets passed up by Locke. Harger is split from these guys, but has a problem. No, just slowed down a little bit. McMullen and Locke, they will work through the final couple of corners and complete the first lap. Back green flag racing. It has certainly gotten darker here in Barber. What the heck just happened? This will be a better look at things. I think Napier maybe goes around. Now I saw a car on the white side, and he's one of the only ones that I've seen with the white side. But up front, well, oh, the other Napier, Justin Napier, spun backwards. That's Hewitt's issue. Spun backwards into turn 1. Will Hewitt with problems there. Oh my goodness. Will Hewitt had such a great race going on. Led laps in this race. Was at least going to finish second, we thought, and is now, it looks like, done.
Yeah, that may have been the final try. As you can see, the cars.
Turn.
Yeah, that's just done. So unfortunate, as you mentioned, leading laps to essentially a DNF on the final few minutes. That's just heartbreaking on itself, and it's literally heartbreaking to see a driver. But you know, the race goes on for the rest of the grid. As you can see here, moving. Does he slow it down? Yes, he does. That was a beautiful move. Looks like on the final sector of the race.
That wasn't even for position. That was Stephen Baldwin working on by Brian Rose. Rose, you can see on the left side of your screen, one lap down, and Baldwin is third. Baldwin is in a podium position and only has one other car to battle with on this lap at all, and that's Mark Truxell up the road.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like only the top 3 are on the lead lap somehow. Oh, as Baldwin kind of gets, are they battling for position even though they're lapped? Looks like they are.
No. Baldwin is third. Rose is the lap car.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Actually, that was Singer.
Oh, everything's going crazy. Yeah, Baldwin is third. Yeah, he only has one car to battle, exactly. So, I mean, things are going crazy. The timing screens are cheating my eyes. Look, Baldwin nearly went into the grass, so he's struggling with something.
The closest battle for position on the racetrack is right here. Locke has caught Harger. Harger was that driver that had company from Brian Rose in the restart. Locke, in all of this, somehow went one lap down. He started from the rear, but I'm not sure how he went one lap down in all of this calamity.
Yeah, somehow he did get his lap back because he was caught up in an incident. So, did he get his lap back? I'm pretty sure half the grid did it.
He is one lap down, currently.
Well, looks like the best position he can get is 4th place. Something went crazy on the timing sheets. But the race is still on for them. It's not going to be on for the podium or for the win, but I mean, it's still going to be 4th place. That's still going to be points on the board.
Yeah, a bit disappointing after last week's win at Daytona, though. Commanding win at Daytona. That works through 1, 2, 3, now down to turn 4. I guess up to turn 4. You can see the elevation change. And I would think that Andrew Locke should definitely catch Cody Harger for this position. Matter of getting by that car, though.
Yeah, exactly. Overtaking is going to be a bit difficult. You essentially have to get a better exit because the straights are not long enough to get the toe and essentially slingshot your way. You just have to get a better exit somehow, force the driver into a mistake. And well, it might be coming. Oh no. Is that Baldwin?
Is turn 5. Turn 5 catches another.
Another Corvette. It's only Corvettes we're seeing escaping.
That's actually correct. Corvettes with problems here. This is Stephen Baldwin's problem. This is turns 3 and 4. It is into turn 5 where he has the issue. He's following Truxell in the 5. Truxell is that white car up ahead, the Aston Martin. He's into that corner and he just goes off the racetrack.
There's a small drop in elevation right before the braking zone. That may have been the cause of all the mistakes, but only happening with Corvettes and not a single Aston Martin making a mistake there. It does seem quite weird. It may have some sort of connection, but I mean, it's just odd and unfortunate for those Corvette drivers.
Turn 1. These two drivers still battling now for 4th. Maybe if Baldwin has another issue, maybe he could be for 3rd soon enough. So this could be a very important spot for Locke to get from Harger. He's got 8 minutes to do it. These two Aston Martin GT1 cars. There's the mistake he needed from Harger. Oh, what a catch. What a recovery.
That was an amazing save. I thought he was just going to be done. Somehow he essentially cut that corner. They're not going to slow down and kept the car within the tarmac. But as you mentioned, if Locke can get past Harger, well, he might be on a shot for the podium if he's just fast enough to catch Baldwin.
Here's a good look on board with Locke. Final corners now on the track. This will take them into turn 15. And that's the lap done. So I was mistaken when they were in turn 1. I don't know where I got that wrong, but now they're in turn 1, these two drivers are. And again, this is the battle for 4th. If Baldwin has another issue of 30 seconds or so, that this could easily, though, be the battle for 3rd place.
Exactly. So Baldwin has quite a bit. It's a buffer, but still it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be under pressure to not make a mistake, to not, break a single meter later. So he really just has to completely nail down the final 7 minutes. And Cody, I mean, he just has to keep Locke behind. It shouldn't be an issue unless the driver behind you won the last round by nearly 20 seconds on the rest of the field.
Yep. Here's Cody Harger. You see, he's lengthened that gap just a little bit. A little bit of space between he and Locke now. Oh, that might be it! Great catch. That was wide at a turn 10, caught the grass, went for a slide. Great handwork, feet work, car control from Harger.
How is he saving those?
Don't know. He shouldn't be able to. Nobody should be able to save that car at a turn 10 like that.
No, absolutely not. He has absolutely no right to do that. And I'm pretty sure Locke thought the same.
Turning out to be a fantastic battle. And it goes a lot more. It goes further than just seeing cars side by side for a battle here at Barber, right? You got to set somebody up for corners on corners. You've got to think out the course of the lap here. You've got to think out how you're going to try and approach and pass them. figure out where their strengths and weaknesses lie, figure out where your own strengths and weaknesses lie, and it seems like it's been the braking zones for most drivers, so if Locke is able to capitalize on any of these braking zones, he should easily have an opportunity to make one of these passes. But then, how do you cope on corner exit? If you charge a corner, usually you're slower out.
Yeah, exactly. So that's going to be a big challenge. Locke seems so much quicker on the corkscrew, so he just essentially has to nail it down. But on this section, he just takes it a bit cautiously, looks like. He just allows Harger to essentially build a little bit of a gap on him, even though it's by 1/2 of a second. But looks like this time around, he's completely committed to it. He's seen the timer, only 5 minutes left. And Rob looks like he's going for it now. Only 0.3 of a second, so we might see Andrew Locke on full-on attack mode.
Brandon Cocker, 1:17.7 now. Fastest lap of the race. You see, the time is even closing up to Baldwin. So again, if the 18 car has a problem, an easy spot for one of these two drivers. Well, for both of them realistically, but it's a matter of who would take third and get onto the podium if there's a problem for the 18 car. And we saw some late race problems from him at Daytona, just letting the pressure get to him. That said, Baldwin, if I'm Baldwin right now, I use up all of my gap back to these guys. Just sit back, make sure to collect that third position. Locke closes way in turn 5. Look at all the time he just made up, but now compromises his own exit, loses a 10th on exit, and will now have to try again into turn 7.
But you can see he did essentially what you told him, Andrew. You know, you just learn, you see where his weaknesses are, your strengths are, and you can see turn 5, he knows he's better in the braking. So essentially just trying to poke the nose in there, trying to offset Harger in any way, shape, or form, just trying to apply as maximum pressure. He only has 4 minutes to go, so time is running out. The leader's just right ahead of him, so as soon as the leader crosses that line, when the timing ends, well, you're only going to have 2 or 3 corners left. So, I mean, time is running out, but Locke seems to kind of be nailing it down. But Harger just absorbing the pressure excellently. I'm not pretty sure that's a word, but he's doing a fantastic job.
Not many laps to go. 3.5 minutes to go in this race. Round number 2 of the SCAR Sports Car Championship powered by Grid by SimLab. And I gotta be honest, Locke needs to get this spot if he wants to keep himself in a position to be talking about for the championship. Now, I know David Bradford's not here. Steve Singer, much further down the order, 9th place right now. And Cocker didn't make last week, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get a drop week in this series because this is a road course development series for the Superior Class Auto Racing Oval Series drivers. Look at that. Oh my goodness. I wouldn't be surprised to see a drop week just to help these guys out in the standings a little bit. I also would not at all be surprised to see the points start stacking up for Brandon Cocker. The way he's turning fast laps like this, it's going to be tough to beat him.
Yeah, exactly. So you really have to capitalize on each and every single race to essentially be within a shot. Even though a 5th place right here, it's a good enough result. He obviously won last time out and Cocker wasn't in the race, but you know, that's just how quick things can turn around. Cocker might just be on a string of good results and that could be the championship, even though we're only in round 2. So if he can get this 4th place, it's going to be a huge boost for him, and it will 100% go a long way into his championship.
9 cars left on the racetrack. They are your top 9 drivers. Brandon Cocker, Mark Truxell, Stephen Baldwin, your top 3 with 2 minutes to go. Cody Harger, Andrew Locke, the battle on screen. Brian Rose in 6th, then Thomas McMullen. Another 6 seconds back, you find Justin Napier. Steve Singer is 9th, 6 laps further back. Will Hewitt is 10th out of this race. Jeff Napier with them, and Jesse King 12th. These are the only 2 cars on track battling for position, and that's a mistake out of Andrew Locke.
And that could be it. That could be the battle for 4th place. He's still very close still, so... But, I mean, that's just going to be unsettling just a tiny bit. That was just a small mistake, and sometimes that's all it costs.
Could this be white flag? Presented by Tucson Sound Art for Brandon Cocker. I think so. I think when he gets to the line, this will do it. We'll see. Do we get white flag? Not checkers just yet, but he flashes his lights anyway. It's hard to say. Very hard to say.
Well, last time out in Daytona, I'm pretty sure he came halfway through nearly on the final straight, so this could be white flag. He passed it with 1 minute and 14, so wouldn't be enough time to go around once again. So this could be the last lap for this battle as well.
Andrew Locke, Cody Harger, this is it. Last time around each one of these corners that we expect. Brandon Conker way up the road. He's 40 seconds clear of Mark Truck, so we'll make sure to follow him across the line. But this battle is getting better and better. Baldwin now should be clear of losing that third spot. Our top three should be locked into those spots, or at least into the podium. Into turn 7, here we go. He closes way in. Locke, way aggressive. You're going to skip that bit of the corner. That's going to be a slowdown. That is likely it for this battle. There it is. You see Locke has got to give the time up, and that green Aston Martin is going to get a lot larger. What a mistake. That's it for that battle. They both run wide. Oh, Andrew Locke, hang on to it. He does.
Oh, I just gasped. It's because he races over, so, well, look
White
at him.
flag presented by Tucson Sound Art is out. The checkers now following as the flashing lights are on for the 777, and that's a race well done for Brandon Cocker. Mark Truxell will be next across the line.
That was a fantastic race, 40 seconds, so we're going to have plenty of time. They're making Team Baldwin, and well, this battle is going to be done. Harger is going to be finishing 4th place, Locke in 5th, Rose looks like it's going to be in 6th place. I mean, what a race this final 10-15 minutes were after the caution period.
That was fantastic. That was fantastic. Mark Truxell going to work through the final 2 corners. His Aston Martin will come through in 2nd place. Really, really good day of just keeping the car clean. And when it comes down to a road course development series, a road racing development series, or a larger oval series, it's exactly what these guys need to do if you're Mark Truxell and Stephen Baldwin. You don't necessarily have to be fast. One of the biggest things about driving a stock car on a road course is keeping the car clean, right? That is one of the, if not the biggest thing for these drivers to keep in mind to work on. Keeping the car clean, stay on the racetrack, try not to lose laps. So the fact that Truxell and Baldwin did that so well tonight, be able to collect top 3s, even though they, let's be honest, did not have the pace of drivers that finished behind them. That's impressive for those 2 drivers. It's why they finished on the podium, why they collected those spots.
How is the saying? To finish first, you first need to finish. And that's exactly what these drivers did. You just have to keep it clean, keep the instants down, just keep your car on the tarmac. Don't make a lot of mistakes. Sometimes, as you mentioned, you may not have the pace of some drivers, but if you can keep it clean and avoid some silly mistakes or even battles that you don't need to race, well, you're just going to be golden.
45 minutes of racing at Barber Motorsports Park, done and dusted. That means driver interviews are on the way. We should have the top 3, maybe an extra driver or 2, maybe a different driver or 2, we should say. But it's all upcoming here on PitStop TV. Do not go anywhere. Here your Class Audit Racing Grid Sports Car Championship. Say that 5 times fast. Is done at the Barber Motorsports Park in Leeds, Alabama. And we've got post-race coverage coming up next.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
"45 minutes well done for the entire field of SCAR Sports Car Championship drivers, but mostly Brandon Cocker out front, Mark Truxell in second, even Baldwin in third. So far, it looks like our race winner not available for comment. That would be the number 777, but that gives us Mark Truxell and Stephen Baldwin to speak with. Mark Truxell first up. After finishing second, Mark, that's got to feel like a triathlon run. I don't know how you guys made it through 45 minutes of racing at Barber. I did some testing throughout the week, but it is one of the toughest tracks I've ever dealt with in the...
Yeah, what a challenging racetrack it is for sure, with all the elevation changes, blind corners and all that. Very easy to make a mistake. And yeah, for a couple weeks of practice, that's what I've been concentrating on, is just no mistakes, those that cost you way too much time.
And we know that for a lot of you guys, specifically myself and you know, Baldwin, a couple other the oval guys in this is a development series, a chance for you guys to get more experience on a road course, typically in a more heavily bodied car, more horsepower, and no ABS, which sounds exactly like a NASCAR stock car. How do you practice for these cars specifically on these road courses, and what is the same from the stock cars to these?
Well, I've actually been doing road courses for a long time, and it's been several years ago, but I've actually got a IMSA championship on iRacing. It was Division 10 nonetheless, but it was a championship. So yeah, I've just kind of raced road courses as much as I have ovals throughout the years, and you know, it just kind of comes natural.
And we know that guys like Brandon Cocker, Andrew Locke, they're kind of outliers, right? They don't run in the normal oval series. They kind of come in here and bushwhack almost to a point. How much does that help you guys? Do they help you at all in practice? And really, is it just a matter of them pushing you to perform, or what kind of dynamic is that?
Well, it's nice to have them in here, you know, to try to see where you're a little bit slower than they are and try to pick up a little bit of lap time. But yeah, I learned something there the other night running with them guys. Started picking up the pace just a little bit, so that might have helped me in my rhythm just a little bit more. But yeah, exciting racetrack.
Lime Rock next week. How do you look forward to it?
Oh, Lime Rock's like the short track of road courses, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Is there anything specific you focus on for these GT1 cars?
You just really can't overdrive them into the corner. You know, it's not a lot of give and take there.
Well, Mark, thanks so much for your time, buddy. Congratulations on second place tonight. Coming from the back of the grid, that has got to feel pretty darn good. Up 10 positions from the start to the end. Congratulations again on silver here at Barber. We'll be talking to you hopefully next time out at Lime Rock Park.
All righty, well, thank you guys for the broadcast, and I just want to say hi to my mom and everybody else watching, and thank you all for a good broadcast.
Classic high mom moment. I like it, Mark. We'll be talking to you next time, buddy. Again, thanks so much for your time. Congratulations.
All right, guys. Thanks.
That's Mark Truxell finishing second. I like that classic hi mom moment. That's something that I think is downplayed a little bit. It's always fun to say hi to family when you're on a broadcast of any kind. So I like that from Mark Truxell. Finishing up third tonight at Barber with Stephen Baldwin. JP's caught up with him.
So Stephen, I mean, what a race. I mean, it was essentially a roller coaster of a ride. We have your stats. I mean, you started in 6th, you went up to 2nd, you were down as low as 8th, and somehow you finished 3rd. Talk us through your race.
Well, we're lucky to be a podium finish tonight. All the guys that kind of got trapped a lap down, they were way faster than I am. I'm still new to road racing, so the idea for tonight was just trying to limit as many incidents as possible. We had a few more than I would have liked, but can't complain with the result. And just looking to improve,
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we were talking with Andrew as soon as the race finished. The dilemma must be to finish first. You first need to finish, and that was the winning strategy essentially. We saw you obviously making a couple of mistakes, but to be honest, this looks like one of the toughest circuits on the calendar. And talk us through what happened on turn 5 when you kind of just went wide into the braking zone. Was something happened to the car, your brakes? Because we saw plenty of Corvettes doing that.
When you get hard on that brake, I feel like it just I don't know if it's the brake bias or just something with the Corvette in general, but you get hard on the brake in that downhill turn, that back end wants to kick out, and so it just feels loose on the steering and floaty, and so better safe than sorry. And obviously sometimes you go in, you can't correct it, and you spin around, but in my opinion, that's what I was feeling.
Oh, and obviously you mentioned, this is going to be a learning curve. Jumping from this racetrack to Lime Rock next time around, how difficult is the transition? Does it make it a bit easier, jumping on such a hard track to Lime Rock, which is kind of the simpler one?
Well, I mean, in reality, this is the first time I've ran at Barber Motorsports Park at all. I had to buy the track this week and really lay down some laps. Went into some tutorials and kind of get a feel of what the pros are saying to do, and I was very nervous with the elevation change and how I was going to handle that. Lime Rock, where it's pretty much one of those freebie packs, freebie tracks. And so I'm a lot more comfortable going into that. However, I'm sure everybody else is as well.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic if we can talk to you again next week. But before I let you go, who do you have to thank for your result?
I want to thank the Scar Racing guys. I've only been with them the past couple of races, but it's been great. Very respectful racing. These guys, they know their limits. And definitely are respectful of the other people's limits. And PitStop TV, so far, I watched y'all's last broadcast. I watched it on replay, and it was a great broadcast. So I want to thank you guys for broadcasting that as well.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you're happy with your result. And as I mentioned, it was fantastic talking to you, and hopefully I can talk to you next week.
All right, man. Take care.
Yeah, you too. Good night. So, Andrew, that was our 3rd place finisher, Stephen Baldwin, and, well, that's the embodiment of the saying, he just kept the car clean, to make it work. And, well, I'm going to pass you by to our 4th place finisher, Cody Harger.
Cody Harger ends up with, I think, the bigger of the two roller coaster races that could be said tonight. Cody, lap 1, turn 1. Big contact with Steve Singer, then you kind of putt around a little bit, try and get all the positions back that you can. I believe it was you that had a Brian Rose come after you a little bit into a braking zone, maybe even a Jesse King, and then suddenly you had to defend 4th place from last week's winner, Andrew Locke. Walk us through this race at Barber. It was a roller coaster in more ways than one.
Oh, for sure. And a lot of it's due to the fact that I'm not a road racer, and really, I did not buy the track until practice started. So definitely just not my element, and definitely wasn't prepared like I should have been. But we got on that first original start there. I think Steve was worried about passing the leader before the stripe, so he lifted, and when he did, it bundled me up. That's when we made the original contact, and at that point, I'm car to inside, car to the outside, and I just kind of overran one a little. Or at least that's the way it looked. I haven't gone back and watched the replay, but like maybe overran one and gave Steve another little tap, which I think put him down a lot. But then after that, it was just regroup. I knew from qualifying and practice that, third, fourth was probably going to be, the cap. If everybody kept their, all the fast guys kept their nose clean in front of me. So we just kind of set in and just tried to make some consistent laps. And was catching up to Jesse King there a little bit, steadily taking 2-3 tenths off a lap. And then he got into the grass at one point there, coming around the backside of the racetrack. Was able to pass him, and then the next lap there in that downhill left, I think that's turn number 5, he locked it up and slid past me. We didn't make contact, but good old iRacing netcode, I think it ripped my left rear wheel off. So at that point, I had to tow and got buried a lap down. So then at that point, it was definitely keep it clean and salvage what we could. And there in the late stages, I realized that fourth was going to be the race, but I had Andrew behind me, and I knew from at Daytona that he was going to be flying. So it was just be smart, amped up aggression just a little bit. I was kind of driving the car a little wild, but I knew that there were spots I could tell from the review and the relative that I was better at a couple spots than he was, but there was a couple spots he was way better than me. So it was just minimize the damage in those locations and try to hit my marks perfect on the spots where I could gain something, and maybe we could just seesaw back and forth, but him never really get a chance to pass me, and luckily that's how that happened. So for as lack of preparedness as I had, and the way the start of the race and midpoint of the race happened, to come home fourth, I'm pretty happy with it.
And Cody, you mentioned not buying the track until practice, pretty much. Does that regimen maybe change going into Lime Rock Park and some other tracks? Obviously, Lime Rock is free, it's included for all iRacing members, but other tracks on the schedule are not. Does that regimen change a little bit? Do you put a little more practice in later on in the season? Was this a one-off in that way? Or do you like being thrown into the element, into that moment? And do you like the pressure it provides?
I'm not a fan of it, and really, to me, it's disrespectful to everybody else. And I felt bad that work, family, everything didn't line up last week for me to actually get some practice time in here. So, typically going forward, I'll be in the practice races, doing my own little practice sessions during the week, and being better prepared. So that's a one-off for me, and honestly, I didn't really like to admit it, but it is what it is.
We've all got hectic weeks that go on. I was at 4 different racetracks this week, so I definitely can relate. We saw a big moment into turn 7, turn 8 for you, that downhill kind of corkscrew section. We actually just saw it in the replay on the broadcast. You kind of hopped over that curbing on the left, and then a few laps later on the last lap, Andrew Locke did the same thing, but went a little bit more into the grass. What was going on for your moment through there, and what did you think when you saw him in the mirror coming up at you through the grass?
So that was the one section of the track where I felt like I was definitely slower than him, and it, I was talking to him afterwards. I was downshifting, and the braking points weren't that far off. I think I was just slowing the car down too much and not letting it roll through there a little bit more, using the brake pedal just a little too much. So, and I could see that, so I was trying to get faster through there, but every time it seemed like, I tried to do something to pick up a little time there so he wouldn't get quite to me. That's when I'd make a mistake and start, skateboarding over the curves and whatnot. So, after I kind of got crossed up there, I think that might have been 2 to 3 to go, something like that. I was just like, well, I know even though he's faster, he can't pass me right here without hitting me. So I'm just going to go slow And that's probably part of the reason why he got crossed up, is just because he would get such a good run on me, and it would force him to grab the brake pedal differently in that section. So yeah, no, when I saw him hit the grass, I was happy, but then again, I was kind of like, man, he probably did that because I'm just so slow through there. But I don't know, I guess that's why they call it racing.
Great breakdown, buddy. Thanks so much for your time, Cody. Can't wait to talk to you, hopefully, at Lime Rock or another race this season. Again, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on winning that battle with Daytona winner. We'll see you next time.
It's the little victories, man. Y'all be good. Thank you for what y'all do.
Yes, sir. Cody Harger finishing up in the 4th position. A really solid day, I'd say, from comeback, especially lap 1, turn 1, looking and let's be honest, kind of helping destroy a race car that started on outside pole. A really, really solid recovery there for Cody. Full race results from round number 2 of 10. You see Brandon Cocker out front in that number 777. Really good day for him. Almost uncontested the entire time. Led every single lap aside from when Will Hewitt got up there through those pit stops. Mark Truxtell finishes 2nd, 42 seconds back. Stephen Baldwin finishes up the podium in 3rd. Cody Harger 4th. Andrew Luck in 5th. And Brian Rose finishes the top half of starters in 6th.
The number 02 of Thomas McMullen is going to be the last driver to not finish 2 laps down in 7th place. Justin Napier, Steve Singer, and Will Hewitt, all of them in 8th, 9th, 10th, several laps down. Justin only 2 laps down. 11th place, we're going to have Jeff Napier, 11 laps down, and then unfortunately Jesse King and Bobby Hamilton, who did not take the field in 11th, 12th, and 13th place respectively.
Would have liked to have seen what Robbie Hamilton Jr. could have done in this race if he had started the event, but looks like I might have to wait until Lime Rock to see if he joins the race field. He may also be on hand as an ad. That's very possible there, Bobby. What a race. Barber did not disappoint today, especially with that full course yellow. That really threw things into a frenzy, and we've got a lot more races to expect, to be decided for throughout the rest of 2021 and into early 2022. Crazy we're saying 2022, but Lime Rock Park coming up next up for these guys in a couple of weeks. Then Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, Watkins Glen, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Autodromo Nacional Monza, WeatherTech Raceway at Laguna Seca, and Sonoma Raceway. So 8 more races to go. Lime Rock, Mid-Ohio, Watkins Glen, Mosport, Montreal, Monza, Laguna Seca, and Sonoma. Fantastic race course.
Exactly, 100%. Looks like they're taking the difficult courses first and last. I mean, Lime Rock obviously is going to be a big of a challenge. Mid-Ohio is going to be very interesting because it does have quite a bit of elevation changes, and it does have some challenging corners. Then we go to Watkins Glen is going to be a bit more simple. It's going to be more familiar to these guys.
What would be the easiest course in the schedule?
I would say Monza is easiest.
Well, it depends on what layout they run, but I really think Watkins is going to be the easiest for these guys for a couple of reasons. And JP, this is where I think the international look at things and the NASCAR look at things, if you will, that the NASCAR look at things are a little bit different, right? These NASCAR guys, they're familiar with Watkins Glen International. They've only recently been introduced, largely anyways. You can hear Mark Truxtell, he's got road course experience, and some of these guys have more road course experience, but for a lot of them, they've only recently been introduced to racing on the Daytona road course, which we had last time out. They've likely never run Barber. A lot of these guys, Baldwin and Harger, they've never run Barber. Mid-Ohio, maybe. That has been a NASCAR Xfinity Series track for some time. Now will be a NASCAR-capable Truck Series track as of next year. But Watkins Glen has been on NASCAR schedules for years and years. Canadian Tire, that should be a place where these guys have more experience. But as you were getting onto, the back half of this schedule, maybe a little more tricky. I don't know how many of these guys will have experience at Monza. My guess is not too many.
Yeah, exactly. We could see quite a few mistakes because obviously it's a flat track, but big braking zones and the highest of speeds we're going to see on the calendar could pose a big challenge. And then we start going to the challenging. The last 2 circuits are going to be very challenging. Laguna Seca, it's going to be a test of precision. And Sonoma Raceway, I mean, that's also going to be a really interesting challenge for the finale. So it's going to be a fantastic end of the season.
And Sonoma's been on NASCAR schedules for a long time as well, particularly for the K&N Pro West Series and now the ARCA West Series. It's also, of course, been on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule since the late 90s. It's overgone a couple of different circuit changes, but Sonoma Raceway should be a fun one. I'm going to be honest, hopefully they use the short course there. Hopefully they use the now old NASCAR Cup course there, the one that does not take the carrot. We don't want any of that. We want the turn 4 that funnels them out towards the wall over that curbing. So Steve Singer, if you're listening, if we can make that change, if it has to be made or whatever, that one, please, the shorter of the courses. That's the fun one at Sonoma. Anyways, that is the season schedule coming up for these guys. That goes into early 2022. The upcoming broadcast schedule, however, here at PitStop TV, JP, is rather diverse. You can see from a road course here at Barber. Tomorrow night, we've got the Lernerville Speedway for the first annual Pete Costco Memorial for the BRPI Racing Series. 117 laps on dirt in big block modifieds. That is going to be a show that you cannot miss. I'm so glad that we've got Joe Donahue back on mic tomorrow for the Pete Costco Memorial. That's going to be a lot of fun. Then Wednesday evening, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, it is the first race of the second round of the playoffs, the Outlaws Sim Series at Texas Motor Speedway. Finally, Thursday evening, the North American Racing League takes to the streets of Detroit, the streets of Belle Isle on Veterans Day for a very patriotic run at Detroit with GT3 cars, 50-some cars, usually, JP. That's going to be hectic.
That's going to be hectic. That's going to be fun. I mean, last time out in Spa, it was amazing. And on a tied road course circuit, on a street course, well, that's just going to be amazing. NARL is going to be posing an amazing show on a tied track. That's going to be fantastic.
We got a little bit of a taste of things at Long Beach with the Cash Days event, the 4-hour event with some 40 some odd cars for that series. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very much looking forward to this round 4 for them at Detroit. A little further on in the week, I do want to mention we've got a brand new series coming up that will be debuting on Friday evening. It'll be the American iRacing League. We've not had coverage of them in a long time, since before their name change last year in 2020. We've got Legend Cars, Legend Racing returning to PitStop TV. More information on that coming very soon. That'll be on Friday night from the Iowa Speedway. Wrapping into further on weeks, we got a lot more action coming up. You need to keep up with it, and you can keep up with all of it, JP, on our social media channels, mainly those ones below. Well, all those ones below. Just add Twitch to that grouping, and that's our social media group.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, follow us on facebook.com/PitStopTV, at twitter.com. We usually have, always have, I should say, live race updates with amazing pictures from our crew. And Instagram.com, again, live updates and amazing pictures at Instagram.com/pit_stop_TV. And obviously, our live broadcasts at YouTube.com/PitStopTV1. And as you mentioned, Andrew, also on Twitch, we're also live there at /PitStopTV.
This has been a fun one, a very fun one from the Barber Motorsports Park. Really great day of racing, really great night of racing. Did find out that it was into the evening, not the morning. It was very confusing at first. It looked like it could have been either one, and then very quickly was evident that it was into the evening. It's coming on after the full course yellow and such. Man, did it look great. I never would have thought night racing at Barber would have been the way to go, but it's the way to go. When the night, or when the sun goes down, the moon starts to come up, that's when things get crazy here at Barber, it seems, in Leeds, Alabama. Let's take a look. Has it rolled into nighttime officially now? It kind of stopped, actually, shortly after. So it looks like we didn't quite get to see full nightfall here at the Barber Motorsports Park. But regardless, I want to give a big shout out to our partners here at PitStop TV. Of course, Tucson Sound Art, your picture, your music, holiday season coming up. Make sure to use promo code PitStopTV at checkout. 10% off of your order when you use it, and that's big. When you're talking about one of these big Tucson Sound Art devices, big or small, I should say, you can get any size in between. I've got one of the smaller ones on my wall, kind of a trial run, but at some point, I gotta save up a little bit. Not gonna lie, this broadcasting gig, man, I gotta keep saving up. But I'm definitely looking to get a larger one to go up on my wall. I don't know what I'm going to get yet, and that's the great thing about it is I've been thinking about this for a year and a half. We've had them on the channel for a year and a half now, just about, and I still don't know what image I want to put on one of my Tucson Sound Art devices. And the great thing is I've been adding to that repertoire almost daily, it seems, but you can put anything on these Tucson Sound Art devices. It's not limited to, in my case, race cars. It's not limited to, maybe in some other cases, weddings or what have you. Literally anything can go on one of these devices. It's a wall art that you mount up onto the wall, obviously, and it has a Bluetooth speaker inside of it. It's the best way to put it. It's wall art canvas that goes on your wall and plays music. We got a couple of ads that get played here on PitStop TV to kind of help them out, help explain what they are. And Robert, Pat, and Gil and everybody at Tucson Sound Art puts together a quality product. And yeah, I gotta figure out. I was at the Patriots at Panthers game today. Maybe I'll put one of those images up. I took some pictures there. Maybe I'll get one of those up on there. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. But a lot of options regardless. A big shout out goes to our partners at Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine as well. I'll actually be able to go up and take a look at one of their offices here soon, later on in November. PermanentMakeupInMaine.com is where you can find everything permanent makeup related. Of course, Whiplash Media, our official broadcast, graphic, and camera provider of PitStop TV, and BAM Racing Videos, recently passed 1 million video views on YouTube by a race fan for the racing community. JP, quickly, final thoughts, if you will. We kind of already hit final thoughts with the schedule, but final thoughts here from Barber.
I mean, another fantastic race. I'm pretty sure the final 15 minutes were as hectic as usual. It could be considered, I guess, a competition caution. I'm not 100% on that. You can correct me on that, Andrew. You're more of an oval guy, but I mean, it was a fantastic race. It kind of, it really surprised me. These guys trying to take it cautious, but yet racing other people. We saw mistakes from the big guys, and I mean, it's just fantastic. And it's going to be completely the opposite next time around in Lime Rock. And well, I cannot wait. 100%, I cannot wait to see what's going to happen around there.
Lime Rock Park next up for this series, but a lot of broadcasts coming up on PitStop TV. But we'll let you guys go again. Follow us on social media. Check out what we've got upcoming throughout the rest of the week. That will do it from the virtual Barber Motorsports Park. Happy to have had you all here, tuning in and joining us for tonight's action. And we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. For all of PitStop TV, I almost went into a bit of a draw there. I don't know where I was going with that. I guess it would kind of fit for Sweet Home Alabama here for Barber, but for all of PitStop TV, there we go. JP Costa along with you on commentary tonight. Trey Shuttlesworth, Emerson Arden, always doing a lot behind the scenes, and so many others. Jacob Zala, Eric Brennan, the list goes on, helping out throughout the weeks. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Have a great night.